Now then, the World Economic Forum takes place in Davos this week. Why should you care? Well, it's billed as a meeting of minds, a melting pot of business, politics and sheer raw power. So is it a force for good or just a closed club for the rich, powerful and famous? I'm joined now by a seasoned attendee who's worked in both business and politics. She's, of course, the former White House advisor, now president of Principalis Asset Management, Dr. Pippa Malmgren. Very good morning to you. You're going this year. How many times have you been?
Well, I was one of the young leaders, so I was privileged to go when I was very young and for some years after that. I mean, it's an amazing event because there are so many people that we know that are there and they're all talking about big issues. But my personal view is that since the media started being so present there, they no longer can say anything really interesting. It's all sort of a lot of grandstanding. Having said that, people are reminded of big issues that as chief executives that kind of put to the side sometimes. So it serves a good purpose.
I want to talk about the young leaders in a minute, but talk about the old leaders, as you mentioned there. I mean, it looks on the outside like a closed shop. You see Bill Clinton joshing with Bono and George Clooney, and everyone goes, oh, dearie me.
Well, look,
what are you achieving
Let's
here?
not overlook the fact that you pay tens of thousands of pounds for a seat. It's an expensive thing to go to. But on the other hand, again, what they've done is created an interest in that kind of topic. And so many things have come out of it, like the TED Talks and so many different organizations that now bring together talking heads to have conversations about important issues. So the spin-offs from Davos have been quite impressive. So
you're saying look at the whole iceberg, not just the tip of the iceberg we see, but isn't it their own fault making it a closed shop? We know how carefully they control Davos, who's allowed. I mean, security is obviously an issue,
a huge
but
issue.
They control who gets access to whom.
Yeah, no question about it. And I think, they like the huge publicity and the controversy, but, everyone always says, what did they accomplish at Davos? And the answer is there is no output. They don't produce anything. Sometimes deals get announced there that were already in motion. But again, I guess the purpose of it is to create a forum for a conversation about the things that matter. But do they do anything about it? Like, we live in a world where inequality is obviously hitting record highs, right? Wages as a percentage of GDP, record low, profits record high. What can they do about it at Davos? But individually, chief executives can address this issue.
Well, what about these young leaders that you were part of then? I mean, that's for the future. Is it useful then for these young leaders to get access to some of the old leaders and some of their thoughts?
What was really interesting is, as a young leader, you didn't get much access to the old guys. But what you did get was access to each other. Yeah. And there is nothing better than being exposed to people who are at the cutting edge of a field entirely different from your own. That is so inspiring of new ideas. So I have to say that was a
And do you all
great
stay
program.
in touch? I mean, is that
we
the point?
We do, yeah. It's like an alumni, and we get together, we go drinking, and we talk about what's going on in the world.
But the problem then, again, it seems to those on the outside that this is behind closed doors. These are people who have access to power. They're talking to each other secretly about things that may affect our lives. Shouldn't we know about it, and shouldn't we have a say about it?
Well, I think the public does have a say in all these important issues, and there are lots of ways to express your view. That's just one forum out of many. And to be fair, I think Davos makes an effort to bring in regular people if they are at the cutting edge of their field. In other words, you don't have to be a chief executive. You could be the leading voice on a particular issue. But still, is it an elitist shop? Definitely.
Do you think it needs reform? Do you think there are things that they should do to signal this, a sense of openness and accountability?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a business, right? It's a profit-generating business. So they have to run it in whatever way actually achieves that end. But the question is, what can we do to create more forums where the public can get engaged in issues? And again, we live in such a great world where we have things like Twitter and, people can talk in public forums about the things that are on their minds.
So should we regard it more, like a literary festival? I'm thinking of the Hay Literary Festival here, where you get the great and the good there, talking about books and things like that, but behind the scenes, a lot of treat it like that rather than, the conspiracy theorists. It's some kind of sinister world leaders
Exactly.
club.
So I belong to all of the clubs that are considered the sinister conspiracy theory clubs: the Council of Foreign Relations, Chatham House here in London, the Institute for International Strategic Studies. Yeah, and everybody goes, oh, this is a closed shop of elitists. And then you go to the meetings and they're kind of boring and nobody's saying anything all that interesting. And you think, oh, come on, there's so many interesting burning issues can we not get at the heart of the matter? The point is, even when you have the most powerful people in the room, it doesn't mean they have the answers. I mean, when I was in the White House, everybody used to say, "Sir, surely you know the answer." And you know what? You don't always.
Okay, Pippa, thanks for the insight, as always. Pippa Malmgren there, very good to see you.